I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Good afternoon and welcome to Camnet TV Midday News. The headlines. Chief Justice IRENE MAMBILIMA dies. Maize purchasing price will not impact the consumers, charges cuts Zambia. Join me with the Midday News in detail after this commercial. And now the Midday News in detail. Chief Justice IRENE MAMBILIMA died. This is according to a statement issued by the Secretary to the Cabinet, Simon Midday, on behalf of President Lungu. Minor details are that the late Lady Justice travelled on an official duty to Egypt on the 10th of June, where she fell ill and died in a private hospital in Cairo. Prior to her appointment as Chief Justice, MAMBILIMA was the chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Zambia. In this position, she presided over Zambia's 2016-2011 presidential and parliamentary elections and the January 2015 presidential by-elections. She has been part of several election observer missions, including in Liberia, Kenya, Mozambique, and Seychelles. The Consumer Unit Trust Society CUT says the increase in the maize buying price announced by the Food Reserve Agency will have no impact on the consumers. FRA has set 150 kwacha as its maize buying price for a 50-kilogram bag of maize during this year's crop marketing season, representing an increase of 40 kwacha from the 110 kwacha in the last crop marketing season. But CUT's national coordinator in an interview, Dr. Claudia Pollen, says that the increase will only benefit the farmers and affect the consumers negatively because meal prices are likely to go up. Dr. Pollen has emphasized that the low-income families will have the cost, stressing that they will have limited access of having 3 meals per day. She further is concerned that the disposable income is not going up for an ordinary Zambian, thereby making it difficult to have a decent meal.
The issue with the maize price is that this is for the small farmers, right? The small farmers, so they will have a higher maize. But what would that mean for the consumer? Would that mean increased prices of millimil?
You can get that one.
If it means increased prices of millimil, we know very well that millimil, shima or basically maize meal is a staple food in Zambia. So this means that the consumer will be getting the most. And again, it goes back to the fact that those low-income households will bear the risk. That means limited access to having 3 meals a day, for example. Or even just basically have to reduce from their intake in order to meet, other pressing needs. So in essence, this increase in price will probably benefit the farmer, but will affect the consumer negatively because incomes are not going up in this whole process. Incomes have not gone up and inflation is just getting higher and higher and higher. So what is happening? It's obviously the consumer is going to be affected in terms of access to basic needs.
Residents of Kanyama compound in Lusaka have raised alarm over the poor state of some roads in the area. Speaking with Camnet TV in an exclusive interview, some bus drivers have lamented that the majority of roads in the area have potholes which damages their vehicles and it makes transportation difficult. Among the poor roads in the area is the Roma Shungu, the road that connects to Mumba Road. They are calling upon relevant authorities to look upon this issue as it has badly affected their business as bus drivers.
The poor state of this road in Lusaka's Kanyama compound is a matter of serious concern to the residents, most especially the bus drivers. Despite recent constructions of road in this area, this road called Roma Shungu, which connects to Mumba Road, remains unattended. Residents state that for quite some time they had pleaded with their local leaders to address the complaint, but nothing has been done.
So when I go to road, like for pesa na mabasi ma drivers tuvuti kama ningi ukaiona road ni lo mashungu ili busy so pesa ati ukaronga mtao nje mashoko kala chama moto kama mashoko maona ka mashoko pa each and every time automatic chani yaona unge kama hivi because of road na ukaiona road si hapa pick up or mkaenda class 2 kwa ile class station
the loads get stuck, the vehicles get stuck, they can't move. Like they are at a junction at Chinika. When you are using the load, this road going to Chinika, the load is damaged too much. It's like there's a it made a drainage, but it's a load. It looks like a drainage, so they have to fix the road.
The road, which is reportedly impassable due to potholes, makes vehicles find it hard to navigate through.
So all my customers from Dandalonga to down because the last station here to me ni so ufungati or move where moto like kuna kubwa ufunga waembeza mzako first apite emana yapo to pit oife kama motoka veti ponya masample hapo ndio monga hapo yesterday guys anapo ponya futi sample mimi ya tu winda so motoka nda so sample ya pwani food ma springs food sianga na munje ya shaking unaona so motoka sianga hapo na munje so tutapapata so watu kwanza kucha road si ipo na munje kozi road si manja.
Some residents have stated that the road has not been worked on since 2011 and that whenever it rains, it becomes impassable.
This is zone hapa. Motoka zipite kama jumba pesa jumba futi kai pima kala manzi hapa. Over. Manzi kwa ati motoka kama watu mataxi tungunu. Tumangena ni manzi pera mawindows mawindo level. Tupuriza tumanzi tumuela. Put dust monga na dust so hapa so. Dust all over just mareka dust. Mlango pameni hapa ngoti
sina hapa yako wati. Ameshi itwaiwatana nikane hapa nini public go up dam site so para if you go to filia na tia isura eza mposa menshiro makorongo tuika ko tuikala so as a result amenshi takwa to kwakuya esa mukala parodi noanda mbona kwa chirodi taikokola nangu bapanga so itafa kwa nani drainage.
They are since calling on relevant authority to address this issue.
Marudi skaidi viva mapangira stinga ziwe bene viva mapangira but mungati otherwise munga ini kwanga cheni mudandao na mungati rodi ngafu munga rodi eve bati onako.
Miriam Kemba reporting for Camnet TV News.
In other news, Zambian entrepreneur and author Malama Katulende has charged that the conduct by politicians during the critics of COVID-19 time is worrisome. Speaking with Camnet TV in an interview, Mr. Malama lamented that politicians have continued to take casually disregarding the COVID-19 pandemic. He adds that politicians must not be selfish but consider the safety of the citizens, hence should avoid finding themselves in places where they attract large crowds. Meanwhile, he has urged President Edgar Lungu and the Vice President Inonga Wina to stop inspecting projects in different parts of the country as they attract a magnitude of people. He reiterates that such jobs must be left to the Permanent Secretary to do because they do not attract a large number of people and this will not risk the life of anyone.
On the contrary, we have seen that a number of political leaders are still carrying themselves as though there was no COVID-19. I'm given to believe that the president would like to curb the spike in the COVID cases, and yet we have seen instances where the vice president, Mama Inonga Wina, with the presidential running mate for the Patriotic Front, Professor Nkandluwo, going on trips and tours, visiting markets. Now, when our leaders go to visit markets, they are bound to attract crowds of people who would pull around them, And that in a sense would spread potentially COVID-19. So what kind of messages are they giving to the nation? I think that in leadership, the examples to do certain things that policy direction must start with our leaders themselves. So I would also like to encourage, therefore, the president to stop making these tours. They are saying that they are inspecting projects, but I think that these projects can be inspected by permanent secretaries and junior officers, because junior officers have the less likelihood of inviting many crowds. But when a president moves to one location, most people would come around, and that beats the Electoral Commission of Zambia ban on rallies, more or less, or roadshows.
Vice President Inongewina said that the late President Dr. Kenneth Kaunda was a strong man whose death brings back a lot of memories of how he fought for the country's freedom. The Vice President says Zambians must be proud of the man he was and appreciate him as a true leader who lived with Christian values. She adds that Zambia produced an international statesman as from the response from international communities.
Just upon arrival at the funeral house, Zambia's Vice President Inongewina wept, recalling how a true selfless leader Dr. Kenneth Kaunda was. She has described him as a great leader whose death brings back memories of how he fought for the country's freedom.
The old man was strong. He kept this country on its feet. And sorry for breaking down, because his passing brings very strong memories of the past in my life and the life of this nation. When we remember where we have come from, where he brought us, and where we are today.
However, the Vice President says Zambians must be proud of the man he was and appreciate him as a true leader and a man who lived with Christian values.
As Zambians, but the man who lived by the Christian values he was brought up with, and you could see this reflected in his life and in the government he led. So that gives us real strength to continue honoring him and to really be proud that this country has produced an international statesman. As you can see from the reactions of many leaders in the world, international organizations who are sending their messages of condolence. Really, it makes Zambians proud. It makes me hold my head. I only wish the family peace.
Zambians continue to celebrate the life of its first Republican President, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, who died on the 17th of June 2021 after a short illness. Miriam Kemba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Well, that news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Midday News, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. Chief Justice IRENE MAMBILIMA dies. Maize purchasing price will not impact the consumers, charges cuts Zambia. Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzea Sakaliji. Remember, COVID is real. Always mask up, avoid crowded places, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Stay safe. Good afternoon.